So the sticker we're talking about today is the New Deal spray can sticker right here. I have it in this form, also this form. This is a window static attachment thing. It's technically a sticker, I guess, but it uses static to stick to things. I got this from Kingswell skate shop, local skate shop. It was in the window, and I was like, hey, DJ Chavez, what are you going to do with that window sticker? And he was like, you can have it, because he knows me and knows how important things like this are to me. And that's a nice thing to do for someone who has a problem. I got this sticker from Ed. I stole it from his house. I don't think I had this sticker when I was younger. I remember having the t-shirt. I drew this sticker a lot. This sticker, I believe, is white, black, red, fuchsia, dark fuchsia, blue. Six color, maybe. 6 color. That's a lot. It's based on a deck design, came out in 1990. It's by Andy Howell, who is kind of the main artistic driving force behind a lot of New Deal graphics. I drew this spray can all the time. It's important to me drawing wise because it helped me learn how to draw like things with volume, like the way this cylinder is, just the way that curve is and the way this curve is, and the way it's like sticking out at you kind of. It helped me learn how to like bend things towards you, and the way the can's going away from you like that curve and that curve and that curve, all that stuff. Like I copied this a lot because it was like super helpful. And the way these lines just stop, like they don't connect necessarily, the way this one doesn't connect, the way these don't connect, like that was real important to me to learn. Like you didn't have to, like every line didn't have to connect to complete the shape, like your eye kind of does it for you. The New Deal logo, obviously great. We'll talk about it another time, but it's a tremendous logo. It kind of changed the way I thought about logos a lot. This isn't my first exposure to what you would maybe call graffiti style art. My first exposure to graffiti was the movie Beat Street, which was a tremendous 80s breakdancing movie. It's great. So I'd seen graffiti before, but this was combining what I already liked from the movie Beat Street with skateboarding, and it was pretty mind-blowing. Because you have to remember, this is 1990. This is pre what we would call street art's explosion into the mainstream. You had graffiti at the time, you had Chaka and people like that, but I wasn't aware of them because I was young. In 1990, I'm like 13 or something like that. So I wasn't aware of all the famous LA graffiti crews like CBS and OTR and people like Skate and Mir and Risk and Slick and all those super important graffiti artists. I didn't know anything about those people yet. So all I knew was this spray can logo sticker to me was about as cool as it could get. Because again, 1990, rebellious rock and roll is sort of dead. The most rebellious music at the time was definitely rap music and hip hop music. Also, it taught me a lot about stylization. Like, essentially, what you're looking at, what this sticker is, it's basically a still life. It's a drawing of a spray can. And when you think still life, you think boring. You're talking fruit, a cup, plate, candle, whatever. Not necessarily the most exciting art you've ever seen. But this is like taking an object and basically animating it, essentially, in one frame. It's taking this spray can and making it look like it's kind of moving and doing something. And just the character of the way the spray can is, I found insanely fascinating. What's interesting to me about this being pre-street art is New Deal at the time was hiring people that became really famous street artists. They had Jose Gomez. They had Barry McGee, who goes on to, in the next 10 years, post-1990, become one of the world's most successful artists. And he started as what they would call a street artist. Now, you can like You can be bummed or not on that kind of moniker of calling someone a street artist. The fact is, Barry McGee went to art school and he went to Stanford. He's a incredibly skilled artist, but he also did a lot of graffiti in the streets. He also did a lot of murals that in San Francisco that were not illegal. But I think of him initially as a graffiti artist that moved into the gallery. And I think it's fascinating that he was working for New Deal, doing that kind of stuff before it had kind of broken out. Skateboarding a lot of times is ahead of the curve when it comes to that stuff. And this was like the perfect exposure of that kind of art to kids like me. So this kind of blew my mind open, and I started. The only graffiti deck before that was that I can remember, and I'm probably missing a few, but I think of like that Jeff Kendall deck. But that wasn't really like done by a graffiti artist. That was done by like Jeff Phillips interpreting the style of graffiti, kinda. Whereas this looks like what you started to see after this becoming what would then be called street art. So it's this weird like bellwether to me, or like this kind of like lighthouse of style. That's what this has. It had style. This is a stylized drawing. It references like animation, like the way Disney draws stuff, or just the way cartooning is done in general. But this had real style to me. And that kind of changed the way I thought about drawing, that it wasn't just about like accurately depicting an object. It was like, okay, you can draw the object, but then you can also change the object to make it look cooler. Also, what I find interesting about the way spray cans function in graffiti art is it's really like self-referential. There's a lot of graffiti and what you would call street art mural stuff of like a person holding a spray can doing a mural. So a person is using a spray can to draw a person using a spray can, making a spray paint mural. It's like a self-portrait of a self-portrait, but it's not corny. Whereas I find self-portraiture gets a little corny. Like, you know, there's always the artist like looking in the mirror, painting himself or herself. Like it's a little, you know, they have the easel and they're like, but there's something about when it's done in graffiti that doesn't feel as lame, because I think you're doing it in a way that is inherently dangerous, mostly frowned upon by society, and can get you in quite a bit of trouble. There's a way that this kind of art gets disseminated to people who don't know anything about it. And it's a lot of times through mediums that aren't like the actual art. So you see like this kind of graffiti work will be used in an album cover or like on a skateboard or something. And that's how you find, I don't know that Andy Howell was even a graffiti artist. I kind of don't think he was, but he obviously was a fan of what was being done at that time and was like, this is perfect for this new company that we're doing. This is one of the first graphics they did. And it was very different than what was happening from other companies. This was the New Deal doing really new shit. Like I remember the t-shirt, the spray can graphic was like down here. Wasn't here, wasn't in the middle, it was over here. It was just like, whoa, this is so weird. And the boards had noses all of a sudden, and people were kick flipping, and Ed Templeton's doing handrails and doing all the impossibles downstairs, and the whole landscape of skateboarding had changed. And around that time, you're seeing mainstream culture change, which is the influx of hip-hop music. It was exploding. It was on mainstream like pop radio. And this was kind of happening at about the exact same time. Me and like my 3 friends were investigating all this new stuff we didn't know about, like music like Public Enemy or X-Clan or Poor Righteous Teachers or people like that. There was all this new stuff to look at and clothes to wear that like matched with what you were liking. It wasn't like you liked this music and couldn't find any accessories. It was like, you like this music, you could get this New Deal design, you could go buy a Fresh Jive t-shirt, you know, you could get shell toe Adidas, you could still find fat laces. Like you could actually kind of design your own style and start to like define your own personal aesthetic or whatever. And then punk blew up again and everyone went punk. But for a little while, this was definitely the shit. Like I want to like thank the sticker. That, I mean, I'm thanking Andy Howell essentially, but like this drawing, man, because this, even drawing this spray can cylinder, it helped me learn how to draw figures later in art school, because this is how they teach you how to draw figures. You draw these like rounded cylinders. You put the rib cage right there. Like, this is the whole torso. You attach the lower part here, the legs go here, but this is how you learn how to draw people, is by curving these simple shapes and making them into bodies. Like, this is the nuts and bolts of like human figure drawing, which is crazy that drawing this 1,000 times made me learn a little faster once I got to really old school academic drawing of people. I drew so many spray cans. I didn't even care that I wasn't a graffiti. I didn't even show anybody. Just love drawing spray cans. When you learn to draw a spray can, if you're out there and you can draw a spray can. It is so satisfying. Put your name in the middle. I don't know. Give it to a girl. Give it to a boy. Give it to someone you think is cute. But yeah, this sticker rules. And Andy Howell truly changed skateboarding's visual game with that new Deal sticker. It's a hot one. And that is why it is one of my favorite stickers. Shout out to DJ Chavez and Kingswell for giving me the huge version, because now I have it.